Welcome to the Cool Fireman Podcast, a virtual firehouse kitchen table with What's a Rolfie, Unky, Fireman 1231, JDB Cubed, and Fireman Freddy. Let's get to the show.
Welcome back, everybody. The Cool Fireman Podcast coming at you for another episode. We've got Unky. What's up, Unkster?
Hey,
it's like the Fonz or what? He's got the beard going still. So we know that once his beard is gone, he'll be back to work. So
couple more weeks.
Yep. How many?
As of today, of this recording, 2 weeks.
2 more weeks. All right. Freddie's here. What's up, Fred?
Yeah, what's up?
Yay. And Big City Doug.
Big City Doug.
Big.
With one of his doggies.
Nope, Avery's here.
Yeah, I'm
along for the ride.
I'm sitting out on my deck doing this one, and Avery likes to be out here on the couch on the deck, so she's with me.
All right.
Watching the Braves.
Ladies love your deck. It's a very nice deck.
Huge deck.
It is a huge deck. I mean, look at all that space on there.
It's a Big City deck.
It's a wide deck, if you will.
BCD's got a BCD. It's all good.
Shoot.
Dang. So, yeah. Well, welcome back, boys. Good to see you as always. Today, we are going to chat a little bit about something that's been pretty close to home for me. Actually, I'm coming up on my year. October 18th will be 1 year ago that I had a heart attack at work.
This topic's real close to your heart.
Yeah, it's really close to my heart home. So we're going to sit here a little bit and talk about a little bit of my journey since then, and then also what you guys are doing in your departments to try to stay healthy. I know that we've talked a little bit about nutrition in past podcasts, and that's definitely a big part of what I've had to change in my life since I had a heart attack in October of whatever last year. And so that's kind of what we're here to talk about. But before that, last episode, which I think we were able to drop on September 11th, was a pretty heavy one. That's understandable. So we're here to kind of lighten up a little bit, but we are going to do first a moment of silence for all of our brothers and sisters that we've lost in the last week or so, and even beyond that. Thank you, gentlemen. Welcome back. So that's out of the way then. So a little bit about heart health and history. One thing that I'll start this off with is that one thing that cardiologists have asked me since this whole thing happened is 2 things. Is it in your family? That seems to be like the number one question. The number one answer that they want is kind of what your family history is with cardiac-related disease, and whether or not you have high blood pressure, and if not that, any type of heart attacks in the family. So myself, I've got some in my family on my one side, and so that kind of has been basically the explanation to me as to why I had a heart attack, and also it's also multifactorial. So basically, your family history is a big deal, but then your risk factors outside of that, things that you do in your life, whether you smoke, you drink alcohol, how you eat, and it's really hard for me to say this, although I still do believe it, everything in moderation. So I used to say that a lot. You ask the guys I work with, I was a garbage gut. I had, even though I look like I'm in good shape, I mean, I do work out a lot, but I'm just that kind of guy that could eat a gallon of ice cream, not every night, but often. Brownies and cookies. And you guys know, you guys are at the firehouse and you get the ding dong on the door, and it's the local, Girl Scouts or just somebody that wants to say thank you. We get that all the time.
All the time.
All the time. And so our countertops at the firehouse typically have at least one box of cookies on. And so it's like an easy grace, right? It's like 2-3 o'clock, and you're like, oh, what's going to hold me over till dinner? Oh, I'm going to have this little snickerdoodle here. So I'd have 2, 3, 4 snickerdoodles in a cup of ice cream with some coffee on top of it. But not anymore. So I've definitely changed my ways, and I'm not sitting here, I'm not going to preach, but this is what I will preach. If you do have, if you're a firefighter or not even a firefighter, whoever, if you have cardiac disease in your family, please go out and get yourself checked out. Go to your general physician and ask your GP, say, hey, I got history. I got this guy who, I listened to on the podcast, and he had a heart attack at 38. What's the deal? Can I go to a cardiologist to get checked out? And so one of my proudest things I would say, since this happened to me, was the fact that I've gotten some guys at work to do that. And one guy just called me, and he's not a lot older than me. He's probably like 45, 46. And he called me and said, hey, I got my doctor to give me a referral to a cardiologist, and I'm getting a calcium score, and I'm getting you got an echocardiogram, a stress test. And I'm like, dude, that's freaking awesome. Now his cardiogram or his ECG thing, it came up perfectly fine, and so he's stoked, and I'm stoked for him. But he has it in his family, and he came back positive. Every year, our department, we do a wellness thing where they put us on a treadmill with a 12 lead, and we run until we can't run anymore. So I'll get my heart rate up to 200 for 30 seconds to a minute, and everything was always good. And I had started doing that in 2012. So 10 years of getting doing a cardiac stress test, and my EKG was perfectly fine. So then last year I have a heart attack. So big question is why. So what I do now is I try to preach to guys to go get checked out. And I named those 2 different tests. They're pretty benign tests, guys. This isn't like going in and getting dye pushed into you and then doing an echocardiogram or an angiogram, whatever. This is just basically like an ultrasound of your heart to see the blood flowing through your heart and make sure your arteries are all, and the walls of your ventricles are pumping the way that they should be. That's it. That and a calcium score. A calcium score is very benign too. It's very easy for them to check, although it's not 100%. Really, not a lot is, but it what it does is it basically any of the plaque. It doesn't measure the plaque in your heart. It just measures the plaque that's become calcified. So the stuff that's been there a long time. So that's going to give you a number, and I can't remember the exact the range. But I think like anything 10 and below is normal, and then it goes up from there. So obviously you get a positive calcium score, you can do something about it, right? Before you have a heart attack, wherever you are. So that's kind of what I've been preaching for the past year. And I'm proud that some guys I work with have taken steps to, look at those kinds of things. And if they've got history in their family, they're taking it serious. The past year, I've asked myself many times, like, hey, what the heck? Why did this happen to me? Why? But, you can get kind of frustrated with the whole deal. But at the end of the day, I'm just being healthier. Instead of getting French fries with my hamburgers every time, I'm not saying I don't get some French fries with my In-N-Out burger. But if I go out to a restaurant, I'll get a side salad instead. Just try to get my cholesterol down. But speaking of cholesterol, just real quick, it's, statins. Everybody, there's a lot of misinformation out there. There's a lot of information that can kind of go both ways, is whether or not statins are safe for you and whether or not we should be doing it. You'll get your conspiracy theorists out there that say, the pharmaceutical company just wants to make money. So you just got to be careful. Yeah, you just got to be careful. I'm not here to say that they're not, and I'm not here to say that they are. If you go into a cardiologist and they basically look at you and you're out of the door in 3 minutes and they prescribe you statins, be weary. They don't care. Be weary of it. You know what I mean? Yeah. But I got this really good cardiologist that I started going to, and he really spent a lot of time with me, like 30 minutes. And he, any more questions? What about this? Any more questions about this? He listened. He goes, hey, did you know you have a heart murmur? I was like, oh, shit, I didn't know that. My last cardiologist didn't explain that to me. So take care of yourself. and just be proactive. And a lot of people, and I've also talked to people that say, well, if I don't look, I'm not going to find anything. You know what I mean? and that's just the ultimate cop out. It's, I don't know. So, yeah, I mean, without going into any other conspiracy theory details, whether or not COVID has a piece of it or the vaccine, who knows? I don't know. And we won't know for a long time probably, but just take care of yourself. So we're starting this conversation off this way. I don't know if you guys have family history of it, and what your overall thoughts are on kind of how to take care of yourself and what it means.
Matt,
Douglas?
The Braves were up 8-6 in the night. 2 outs.
That makes my chest pain a little less.
So no, it's going to get better or worse, I should say.
Oh, let me give my, if you don't mind, I'll give my little 2 cents. The Twins are waking up.
It's 8-8.
Time. And who are they playing?
The Phillies.
So about getting yourself checked out, I can't speak from my personal experience, but we start with my father. He's turned 70 next. He turned 69 this past May. He had his heart attack at 54 on the job on Super Bowl Sunday, and I always think one of the firefighters every time I see him for saving my dad's life, because my dad, it was I guess similar to Matt's. It was just like, I'm not feeling well. It wasn't I'm blacked out, gone, unconscious. He was cooking chicken wings and didn't feel right. And my father's a smoker, still is. He comes and goes. So he didn't feel right, so he went to go smoke a cigarette. And the firefighter was like, hey, let me put you on the monitor. He's like, I'll give you an EKG. I says, I can't read it, but I know when it's messed up, what it's supposed to look like. So you put him on there. His blood pressure was like 225 over 120. So you ALS guys are like, oh, that's not good. Yeah. So it's something's going on. And then he started seeing, tombstones. I think it was what he described it as, or something. I don't know. He's just looked at the EKG. He's like, I don't know what that is. Well, I know it's not right. You got to go to the hospital. My mom picked him up because they live right around the street from it, and took him in. You just like one of those things. You don't feel right, especially you're at the firehouse. Go get yourself checked out. Find somebody that you trust. Somebody that's not going to put your business down the street. And if you have to call the other fire station down the street, so be it. You're going to have to work it out, or something with an officer. My brother got diagnosed with non-Hodgkin lymphoma. He was on the job. He did foam team stuff. We think it's related to the foam. So he did, one day he just crippled over with like stomach pains. And so it went in and transported him. They were at one call. So they called, he got on the ambulance, went with them to the hospital, and they started checking him out. And they're like, hey, you got all these little, lumps and stuff like that. So they found he had non-Hodgkin lymphoma. But what triggered him going to the hospital, he had double hernias. And it's been over almost 2 years since that happened. And just beginning of this year, he got it taken care of. Because the doctor was like checking him up, and it was non-Hodgkin's, and say, hey, did you know you have double hernias? And he's like, well, that would explain all the pain I had. They're like, yeah, it would have. He's like, yeah, that's what I originally came in for, basically. But if you feel like something's not right, just go get checked out. I know it can be costly, depending on your financial situation, if you have benefits or not. If you're unsure of, so a lot of people I know still don't have a primary doctor. I'll say it, oh, shame on you. But if you got something going on and you do have insurance, pull out the insurance card and call that 1-800 number on the back. They'll tell you who you need to go see. If you need to go see a specialist and stuff. I've never had a problem with, you have to have a referral. I remember that back in the day. Nope. No, I don't. I called my insurance and they gave the clear, and they're the ones that need the referral. And they said for me to contact these people. That's what they told me.
Get checked out. It's better be alive with a bill.
Yeah, it's so yeah. You gotta extend your life, man. It could be just simple as it's real bad with men that have heartburn. The girl I grew up with, her father had heartburn, and they found him face down in his mattress with a handful of Rolaids. So
Yeah.
Rolaids. That's
Yeah.
a callback. Do they still sell Rolaids?
because he had heartburn. But anywho, gentlemen, thank you for letting me take my piece.
Natty or Monroe?
This is Monroe. The
Oh.
fuzzy one. Doesn't it say? Okay, be honest. What is this? Oh shoot, her big old head. Daddy is my what
Yeah,
guy?
use her.
Hero.
Is my her.
Is there her donut?
Yeah, so her
That's
doing
good.
that.
That looks like a donut.
Gosh, she's cranky like her.
I hurt my wife's feelings when I read that to her. I was like, you should have got the Maltese cross in a red that matches. I thought it'd be great with gold. It says, Daddy's my her.
Her donut.
Her gold donut.
Hashtag her.
God, she's cranky like her dad.
Yeah.
Um,
She's the spice one.
just to kind of bring it home, and Unky, I don't mean to be, I don't know, maybe this is bad, but like, we all got kids, man, and I want to see. I'll be honest with you, I want to see my kid like have kids. So get yourself checked out, and I'll be the first to say that. I'm taking 2 college courses right now, that are, that are instructor courses, and I'm super busy, and I'm teaching at the academy, and I'm working my shifts, and every once in a while I have, I stand on the sideline for my alma mater high school and do the paramedic for the football games and stuff. So I'm busy as shit. And a lot of times at work, after dinner, stuff like that, I, pull out my book or pull out my laptop and do some studying and stuff like that. And I'll be the first to say that I'm not proud of it, but the last few shifts, I haven't been able to get a workout in. And it's just because I feel so overwhelmed with these classes. And I'll admit that's not great. You need to be getting those workouts in, and honestly, I almost feel a little bit like a hypocrite because I did the first day of orientation for the academy the other day, and they have PT on Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. That's a whole other thing. Like the fact that they don't do PT every day in the academy makes me crazy. But I told them, I said, you guys are doing PT 3 days a week for 45 minutes. I said, so an hour and 35 minutes a week is not enough PT for you to be ready for this job. Now, they, I think, are at a different level than me. But with that being said, I feel bad because I haven't been putting in the effort on the physical side that I should have been versus the mental side. And, it makes me worried. My dad has a pacemaker. He had a syndrome where ever since he was a kid, and it was finally when he was older that they diagnosed it. They're able to figure out what it was, but it's sick sinus syndrome. And for those of you who don't know what that is, basically it's your fight or flight response is miswired. So for my dad, if he hurt himself or was very worried or anxious about something, a lot of times people feel that excitement, that anxiety. That's your fight or flight response, and most of the time, the arteries and veins in your body are going to constrict. Your pupils are going to dilate. It's going to get you ready to either fight or run away. Your heart rate's going to go up. For my dad, he would vasodilate. His heart rate would slow down, and he would pass out. And it happened quite a bit when I was growing up. And, there are times that, we were all at the Kenny Chesney concert and he happened to step off a curb and roll his ankle and it was hurting him really bad. And he ended up passing out like in the street area a couple minutes afterwards because it hurt him so bad. And, there's a time we were out to dinner and we were at Logan's Roadhouse and, you eat the peanuts and you throw them on the ground. Well, he got a bad peanut and he was really worried that it was going to upset his stomach and it was going to ruin dinner. So he was sitting there stewing about that, and he ended up passing out. So that went on, and he passed out. It usually was few and far between, and he passed out a couple of times in the same year, which was odd. So he ended up going to the hospital, and they found out, they were able to have him on a cardiac monitor, monitoring everything when it happened. And they're like, oh, that's what it is. So they put a pacemaker in, and I want to say I was in my 20s when that happened. And he hasn't passed out once since that happened. So in the back of my mind, is that something that maybe I'll get? He dealt with it his whole life. I've never really passed out. So, maybe I got that going for me, but that doesn't mean that some type of cardiac ailment, if you will, is in my history. So I'll be 41 this year, and I probably have to do a better job of getting myself checked out and keeping better care of myself, because it's real easy to just find the chair. And everybody listening today will say, I'm probably in pretty good shape. And you're right, you probably are in pretty good shape. But when you find it easy to just kick your feet up in the chair, go walk on the treadmill and watch a TV show for a half an hour instead of just laying there and watching it. A half an hour a day on the treadmill is going to be better than nothing, I feel like. And I have to tell myself that too, because I can read my book if I'm studying on the treadmill, and I should probably be doing that more. And then just a side note, our department, we just got a Jacob's ladder. That thing is the freaking devil. Holy Hannah. That's horrible. I don't know if you guys have ever done one of those.
I've seen it. It's at the Gold's Gym near my station.
Good Lord. That thing is the devil's tool. I'll tell you what.
Did the baby just fart?
I just turned the mic on.
That was
I heard a brrr.
If somebody was eating, that was Matt. He did it.
Sounds like a Jake break.
Yeah, but really short. Brrr.
Yeah.
I done Jacob's ladder at the carnival.
Is that the pegs?
No, that's the one where it's literally a treadmill with a ladder.
It's a treadmill with ladder rungs on it.
Oh, I've never seen that.
Yeah.
We just got these bikes, these road bikes or something. I forget what they call them.
Oh,
They got a big fan in the.
yeah. What do they call them?
You've seen assault bikes.
The assault bikes. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
dude, those things gnarly.
Yep.
And I've been pretty good like cardio shape. I did cross country and track in high school, and so I've always kind of just been like,
Running for no reason.
Yeah, prided myself. Thank you. And prided myself for being able to like run, 5, 10, 15 miles, whatever.
Jesus Christ.
Dude,
15 miles.
Not no more.
Hey, what are you doing? I'm just running. Well, where are you going? Nowhere.
So I told my cardiologist after it happened, I said, you know what? I go, I want to do a marathon in January of next year, right? Yeah, the Carlsbad Marathon. And he looked at me and he's like, huh? He's like, why? And I was like, well, I just want to say F you to my heart attack, And he goes, you know who the first person was that did a marathon? Did I tell you guys this story? And
Yeah.
he goes, it was Philippides or whatever his name is.
Yeah.
From in Greece. He was, they had won the war or whatever. He had good news. So he ran 26.2 miles from Marathon to Athens. And
To tell them.
good news. And then what happened?
He died.
He dropped dead.
Good.
Yeah, exactly. He told me that
Because he ran 26 miles.
Yeah, he told me that story. Yeah, so
You said run the marathon?
And everybody's listening, Matt did the correct thing and talked to his doctor about before doing a marathon. Because I don't know about y'all, we do a lot of marathons in my area, and it's nothing for a 16-year-old to a 20, 50, 60-year-old to literally cross that finish line and go to cardiac arrest. Within 10 feet after it, gone. Not coming back. It used to happen every year at every marathon.
Unky, that brings up a really good point, and there's a huge push around me. I don't know if it's a huge push around you guys though, but the local sports station around here does fundraising and stuff like that. They do the student heart check, it's called, because there are a lot of teenagers who are competing in basketball, football, volleyball, baseball, track, what have you, who have this hypertrophic cardiomyopathy that's kind of undiagnosed, and they get going and they're falling out and they're having these cardiac events at a young age just because it's an undiagnosed thing. So,
is that like a large heart?
Yeah.
I'm an EMT. I'm BLS, guys.
No, I gotcha.
Yeah, speak band-aids to me.
We've been talking a lot about ourselves and like get yourself checked out. But, with that being said, there are a lot of insurances and doctor's offices and stuff like that do them either free of charge or, small copay to get your son or daughter checked out. And while it may end up breaking their heart, if there ends up being something there, it could also end up saving their life, to be 100% honest with you.
Yeah. First firefighter funeral I went to, it was a volunteer I knew. I helped train his class. He had a large heart, undiagnosed, and they were out doing a demonstration, cutting cars. And he said, I don't feel good. And it was a warm day. He gave the hearse tools to another person, and he started sitting down on the bench, and he was gone before his butt hit the fence.
Damn.
It hit the city. Yeah. He hit the city, fell right over. They opened him up, purple from the nipple up. The first ALS provider on scene was coming from another city for the expo. And when they opened him up, he knew right away, well, he's gone. But because they were in the public eye and being one of our own, you just do the fanfare and get him out of here. And all because of an undiagnosed enlarged heart. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, as we use the word workout, but from what I've done some research, I read a really good book by this, his name's Dr. Peter Attia. He wrote a book called, I'll Live. And there's a really good documentary. I think it's on Netflix with him and Chris Hemsworth, and they call it, it'll come to me. I can't think of it right now. Not I'll Live, but it's, I can't think of it. Anyway, if you look it up with Chris Hemsworth, it's really good. And they just do research on different types of, I guess I'm going to use the word modalities to like live longer. And one of them, one whole episode is based on fasting. So doing like a 24, 48, 72-hour fast and what it does for your body, rids of bad cells and all this kind of stuff. And then also another episode they did is the polar plunges. I don't know if you guys have done a polar plunge and the benefits of that to your body. But so one thing that Peter Attia says is you don't have to get out there and get your heart rate to 185, 190 during these workouts. He's like, just stay in zone 2. Zone 2 is like 120 to 130. And that's like exactly what you're saying, Fred, is just get on the treadmill and just walk at a little bit of an incline.
5 degrees, man. We'll get you at about 5 degrees. We'll get you to 135. You just coast.
And just coast.
You don't have to go 15%, 5%. It's fine.
And you got to make that like a lifestyle. You can't just do it once, twice a week. It's just got to be something that you just regularly do. And it's going to, obviously you start feeling better. You start eating better. So I just we use the word workout. Like it doesn't have to be work. It doesn't have to be hard work. It just has to be your lifestyle, So there was something else I was going to say. I can't remember. But yeah, no, it's all good stuff, guys. I appreciate you guys wanting to do this as a topic, and whoever's still with us on the podcast, it's very important. I think it's still the number one fireman killer, right? Is cardiac.
I thought cancer.
What's that?
I thought cancer surpassed it.
Did it surpass it? I mean, it's up there. It's in the top.
They got to be close.
Yeah,
one of the big 3, definitely.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. And so just, we're just here as with the little platform that we have to try to spread some awareness and that, hey, it can happen to a 38-year-old. And so get yourself checked out. You got family history. I've said it a million times already, so I don't want to beat the horse, but sorry, Doug. I know you got horses, so you're probably sensitive to that.
Don't beat my horse.
He's got a donkey.
No, yeah, here's the big city, Doug.
It's a mule
attack here.
I have a mule and a horse.
All y'all 3 at one time saying 5 degrees on the treadmill.
My wife,
work. I felt attacked.
my wife went back to the rescue where we got the mule from the other day, and they got a new mule in for the low cost, adoption cost of $5,000. You can get that mule. She said that mule will go for $10,000 on the market easy. And I was like, nah, we good.
We good.
For $5,000, we could rescue 5 animals instead of just one.
I was selling for 10.
Or as little as a cup of coffee each day, you can rescue this llama.
Her grandma is a big animal lover too. And the minute she said, Grandma, they got all these horses and mules and stuff that they're trying to adopt out, she's like, well, you should go get some. She was like, Grandma, they're like $800 a piece. She was like, well, go get some. I'll take care of it. And now it's turned into grandma's going to adopt this and that and this and that. So
it's $800 for the paperwork, Grandma, not for their whole entire life.
Yeah.
This is not something, a knick-knack you put on the wall.
From then on, it's $200 a month.
Or ish.
Yeah, ish. Yeah. So anyway.
Well, I appreciate you fellas listening, bending an ear to me, speak of my whatever experience. The Braves are up to 10-8 now.
Yes, I'm watching. Well, see, I was trying to lead into that. It was 8-6. And Bryce Harper came up in the bottom of the ninth with a man on. He was 4 for 7 against Raisel Iglesias with 3 home runs. He's now 5 for 8 with 4 home runs because he hit a 2-run homer. So
it's over.
Yeah. Well, no, we ended up scoring. Oh my God, that was strike 3. What the hell? Anyway, we put up 2 in the top of the 10th. We got 2 outs right now, so we're doing okay.
You're a little behind.
And if anybody wants to hear more about Matt's cardiac incident, he's got a personal podcast. It's probably about episode 2.
Oh, yeah.
Probably, maybe 1 or 2.
Here we go, ball game. Let's go.
Talk some detail about what's the name of your podcast, Matt?
I haven't done that in a while, but yeah, the What's Wrong.
But it's up there.
It is up there. It's the What's Wrong podcast. Yeah, I started doing that.
Talks about his cardio episode.
Yeah, I started doing that when I was off, and I just I don't know. I'd rather be on here with you guys. So, anyways, yeah, you can do that. But
LA boy, in case you're wondering, Ronald Acuna's the MVP. Mookie Betts can kiss my ass.
All right,
who's your MVP?
I second that.
Okay,
and Acuna, absolutely, 100%.
Okay,
yeah,
thank you.
Maybe Shohei. I think Shohei deserves it.
I think he would have been in the conversation had he not got hurt.
Sure.
I hate that for him. I hate it. Every baseball hates it for him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Baseball fans around the world should.
Yeah. Hopefully he can be like Bryson, maybe just, keep playing defense or, whatever. Yeah. Keep DHing something like you. I mean, yeah, baseball in general hates that.
Yeah. All right. Well, thanks for listening to the Cool Fireman Sports Podcast. This has been another
next episode. We talk about fantasy football.
I will direct you to unckyseasonings.com to check out his amazing baked salmon meal, because that
big garlic good, herb.
Heart healthy, really good heart healthy.
Yes.
Get yourself some garlic and herb. All right, boys, it's been another great one. I will see you next week.
Roll it, Gigi.
Before you leave, hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications, and give these firemen a huge thumbs up. Also, make sure you check out thecoolfireman.com for more. Thanks!